to want us there in Drive 8. Christine, you've got Eric Patterson next to you, both of his eyes wide open on the road.
Wide open.
You've got your eyes on the camera. What do you have there for us this morning?
Okay, so we've been all over the area this morning. Right now, we are at I-5 and really 217, the interchange. I want to show you what we see right now this morning. It is pretty much clear where we're at right now. So like I said, I-5 northbound near the 217 interchange. This is kind of like the Lake Oswego area. You see, it's quite clear, but man, did it look so different yesterday. Let's take a look at some of this video that we got from Tom Baker. I was talking to him on Instagram last night. He posted the video on his Twitter page, or not Twitter page, Instagram page, and it's gotten like 50,000 plays on it. Lots and lots of semi trucks. You can see them just lined up. The joke that he made was like, hey, if you don't know where your Amazon packages are, you might know where they're at now. But wow, what a mess it was. Really gives you an idea of the conditions that those truck drivers were experiencing, your average drivers were experiencing, but now obviously variable conditions. Let's take a look at some of the video we shot a little bit earlier on I-84 eastbound coming up on Cesar Chavez. That's exit 2. Very icy in that area. Definitely slick. Even in our four-wheel drive car with studs, we were slipping and sliding. 2 cars were in a crash just before exit 2, which is Cesar Chavez. It's really an indication that you've got to go slow, especially when you're talking about some of those highways and freeways in the area that are iced over. The second piece of video from I-84 coming up off the off-ramp on Cesar Chavez, another problem area we saw this morning where 2 semis, I believe it was, they couldn't make it up the off-ramp because of the incline. Very icy, very slick there. Another video from I-84, because that seems to be quite the problem area, at least from our perspective as we've been driving around this morning. We were driving under a number of overpasses and saw huge icicles hanging down over the highway. If you're driving on I-84, definitely keep an eye out for those icicles that are hanging over your car. Also, keep an eye out for chains that are just scattered all around. And you know what? We've definitely seen people driving a little too fast for conditions, especially when we're on I-84. So slow it down. You definitely don't want to be caught in a situation where it's, dangerous. Back out here live. Again, this is I-5 northbound. This is past the 217 interchange, and you can see some slick spots kind of on the left-hand side, but really pretty clear where we're at. Earlier, I mentioned that we've been driving all over the place. When we were on Highway 26, it was quite slick out that way. A few abandoned cars, probably a handful that we saw, but not as many as we saw yesterday. I-5 northbound, kind of near the Markham Bridge area, that looked okay. Kind of near the North Portland area, looked relatively clear to our eyes anyway. Fremont Bridge top deck was very slick as well. So I've said this already, but the story of this morning, I'd say variable conditions depending on where you're coming from. I know our Rod Hill coming from Vancouver, our director Byron coming from Ridgefield on I-5 southbound, they said it was clear on their end in Washington, but once they hit the Oregon border and came into Oregon, that's when they had to really slow it down. So if you're headed out, just take it slow. Maybe double check where you're going and what highways you're going to have to travel, because some areas are much worse than others. Back to you.
Christine, you've done a great job in Drive 8 this morning. Can you flip that camera around one more time to show us that stretch of road where you're at right now? Because not too bad at this moment, but man, those videos that you shot earlier and just showed us a moment ago, different parts of the city, different stretches of 84 and I-5 still in some bad shape on this Friday morning. So keep that in mind as we move through this Friday morning of sunrise. We do want to update you as well on PDX, the situation out there, because we know dozens of flights were canceled both in and out of PDX on Thursday. Here's the latest right now as we look at the big board at the airport. PDX is reporting 18 canceled flights already today. 19 delayed flights on top of that. So if you are flying out today, definitely check with the airline that you're flying with to find out if your flight is impacted.
I've been looking at some of those cancellations. One was to Honolulu, which I mentioned earlier.
That's the worst.
You cannot get to Vegas either, at least not at this particular time. There's like an 8:23 to Vegas.
I bet we could get there. I bet you we could get there if we got in the car right now and just started taking our time slowly.
Road trips.
Hey, real quick, a note on the traffic. Christine mentioned I drive in from Vancouver. Be prepared because you're driving on pavement that looks like it's July. It's that clean up in Clark County. And then all of a sudden you get into Delta Park and it is an absolute sheet of ice. The low that was our snowstorm, it's now producing rain and mountain snow down in California around San Francisco. Still throwing some cloudiness up into Oregon, but generally we're pretty clear out there. And the cloudiness that I just showed you mainly to our south will actually continue to drop away from us during the day. So Wells Fargo camera is gorgeous on a Friday morning. Temperature not so gorgeous. 25, that is tying the current record low for today's date. I think we'll probably at least make it to 24, which would be a new record. We have a chance to set another record low tonight. So don't forget, pretty clear today, clear tonight. Tomorrow morning will be a very similar temperature map to the one I'm showing you right now. In fact, the winds will be much calmer tomorrow morning, which means Salem instead of being 24, you might be 20. Portland instead of being 25, could be 20. Kelso 18. The coast will be hard freeze again overnight tonight. The Dow's 18. Again, we'll have similar numbers to colder to start your Saturday. Here's Futurecast. So sunny today, clear tonight, cold. Tomorrow a little bit of cloudiness coming in the afternoon. We'll call it partly cloudy overall. Here's the next rainmaker up, nipping at the coast at 6 o'clock. And then somewhere around the midnight hour or after, we'll start to see some precipitation come back into the I-5 corridor. This blue shade, yeah, that's snow, but let me play the button. We get into early morning at 6:30. The front actually comes in prior to sunrise tomorrow or Sunday morning. And once that front comes in, all of a sudden it is quickly rain. So a little snow, if you sleep in Sunday, that probably happens before you wake up here in the valley, then it will be back to rain. Certainly the chance, an elevation anyway, that there could be a little bit of sticking snow from that system, but during the day, the snow level will pop back up to about 1,200 feet. This is a snow level forecast. Sunday afternoon, 1,200 feet. Look at Monday morning and Tuesday, though. Back down to 500 feet in the Metro Hills with a rain-snow mix Monday morning and maybe during the day on Tuesday. The overall weather pattern is still quite chilly for this time of the year. A little bit of a rise, a big rise in snow level actually the mid part of next week on Wednesday. Back to today though, temperatures in Salem, Corvallis expected to hit 40, back down to about 20 tonight as we mentioned. Up in Southwest Washington, similar numbers. Battleground 44, Longview 43. Warmer than it will be from Vancouver into Portland, where temperatures will probably stop in the 30s. That's where that east wind is still adding the chill coming out of the gorge. 20 to 44 tomorrow. I think Portland stays above freezing here in the city Sunday morning, but we're watching that carefully. 44 in the afternoon. Bit of a mix with near freezing temperatures again Monday morning into Tuesday. And the next shot that looks like dry weather is Wednesday morning, and maybe much of Wednesday overall is dry, and that is your forecast.
Let's take a look back outside at one of the problem spots that we've been keeping an eye on all this morning here in the Sunrise Show. This is I-84 at 37th Avenue. The cars on the left side of your screen, those are the cars heading into town, heading west on 84, and you can see it is slow going. So about 20 minutes ago, we saw an accident cleared out of the way there. That was kind of the moment when traffic started to free up again a little bit. But even with the traffic free of that accident, those cars are still moving really slow simply because it is just that icy on that side of 84 this morning. We'll keep an eye on this. You should definitely take time if you do have to head outside today, so keep that in mind as we roll through this Friday morning of Sunrise. We're back in a moment.
Welcome back. Now to your morning rush. Today marks 1 year since the start of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said despite all of the hardships, 2023 will be a major turning point in the war. Ukraine has called on its allies to redouble their efforts to support them at this crucial stage. U.S. officials are vowing to do everything they can to get Ukraine the key military equipment it needs. The toxic train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, was, quote, completely preventable. That's what federal officials say in a recently released report. It found a hot axle on one of the train's wheels, ignited a boxcar carrying plastic pellets, sparking that initial fire. The train passed by several what they call defect detectors that are stationed along the tracks, but because the fire wasn't hot enough yet, it never triggered an alarm bell, and after that it was just too late. However, there is no evidence at this point that the crew did anything wrong. Former Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein was sentenced in Los Angeles to an additional 16 years in prison for charges of rape and sexual assault. He's already serving a 23-year prison sentence in New York. In 2017, bombshell news investigations revealed alleged sexual harassment, abuse, and secret settlements as he used his influence in Hollywood to take advantage of young women. And we are not the only ones dealing with winter weather. This is video from Minnesota. Forecasters say most of the state has seen from a foot up to almost 2 feet of snow. Much of Montana, Wyoming, and the Dakotas also seeing the same conditions. And that's your morning rush.
All right, we're going to head back outside now. A live look from Devin Haskins, who has been in the downtown core for us all morning long. Devin Haskins checking out the DQ. Devin? Thinking Dairy Queen on this Friday morning? I think it's
a blizzard.
I think it's cold enough out there, isn't it? My goodness. Oh, this is Chad's shot. Chad's in Southeast Portland. Where did Chad move to? Can you give me that update? 174th in Division. Remember you were asking earlier, Brenda, if Chad was going to see other parts of Southeast Portland?
Yeah.
Now we're seeing it. He was at 119th. Now he's at 174th in Division. Similar situation there in Southeast Portland that we saw earlier. Snow-covered sidewalks, ice-covered roads, and yes, the DQ blizzard on the menu this morning there in Southeast Portland. All right, Rodney Hill, we have about 14 minutes left in this sunrise show.
Thank you, sir.
So give us one more long look at our weather forecast.
Would be a nice promotion, wouldn't it? Free blizzards on days with...
when we have a blizzard.
Yeah, why not? Huh? This is gorgeous, right? It is just as cold at the coast as it is here in the valley overall. Here comes your temperature, 25. This, of course, Cannon Beach Live. Beautifully clear skies, deep blue Pacific waters out there, but cold. Portland, we have a little bit of cloudiness if you look off toward the mountains, but basically this is just a sunny, cold day. You can see the snow on the ground, of course. 25 is the temperature. East winds to 23 out along the river, and the 25 actually ties the record out at the airport for the record low for today's date. Here comes Maisie all bundled up. Perfect picture for today, right? Like, I don't think I'm going to get up. Use that hashtag KGWDog today. Post your pics on your social media channels. We will find them and put them on our show. Weather map for today, all dry, all sunny. Low 40s at the coast, reaching 40 in Salem and Albany. As you folks know, you got above freezing yesterday. Kelso was above freezing yesterday, today 42. Portland in the afternoon never really got above 30, but today 38. So you'll notice that with the sun. East winds adding the chill coming out of the gorge. 17 later today in Timberline after being down to 3 degrees this morning. And 20s over in Bend, so that's cold weather. Mountain passes obviously are snow covered and compacted with the cold weather up over the mountains. 38 today, cold again tonight. 44 though tomorrow. It's a big warm up tomorrow. The winds will be light tomorrow. We'll lose the east wind. And then don't forget overnight into Sunday morning, that period of snow, but the front comes in early Sunday morning before sunrise and everything quickly changes to rain for the daytime hours and we'll get up to 44. And then it's a pretty chilly week. I don't have any 50s for forecast highs, and we're still watching the chance of maybe a wintry mix Monday morning and at times Tuesday. And that's your forecast.
All right, Rod, thanks for that update. Of course, one of the biggest stories we're still following after this week's snowstorm, all those cars that people left behind on Wednesday evening, cars that are still sitting on city streets interstate on-ramps and even the freeways themselves.
KGW's Alma McCarty looked into what people should do at this point if they did indeed abandon their car.
Stranded and stuck with no easy way out, many Portland drivers decided the best course of action would be to abandon their cars Wednesday night.
Pretty frustrating because, nobody knew that it was going to snow this much.
I had to stop at the red light behind cars and I couldn't keep moving. And if I couldn't keep moving, then I was stuck. I needed the momentum.
By Thursday afternoon, crews were in full swing to address the icy streets. Commissioner Minx Maps explains.
We've been out all day. We have plowed about a third of the city, plowed or treated about a third of the city. We still got more work to do, but we're making incredible progress. I'll tell you, one of the real challenges for us right now are the cars that have been left about in the streets. So we've been waiting to get those vehicles off the road.
PBOT leaders announced Thursday people who left their vehicles parked legally at meters and other public parking spots will not need to worry about overstaying time limits until midday Saturday. Plus, the Bureau will waive parking citations for illegally parked cars.
If you've abandoned your car in a dangerous place, I encourage you to do everything you can to move it to a safer space.
However, if your car does get towed before you can get back to it, what do? The city partners with an online platform called Auto Return to help speed up the process of finding your vehicle after a tow.
It's a service that provides this clearinghouse of information on vehicles that were towed, and they're doing the intake of these orders across ODOT, PBOT, police, a variety of agencies.
Although PBOT won't cite owners for parking violations, you will be responsible for the towing fees. That also goes for cars towed from ODOT-managed roads. Local tow truck drivers told KGW despite nonstop calls Thursday to retrieve personal vehicles, the current focus remains on clearing blocked roads. They'll shift gears Friday or Saturday to tow more cars as conditions improve.
Odds are, given the high number of vehicles that were abandoned, not only on city streets, but on state highways and state freeways, it could take a while for the tow trucks to get to your vehicle.
That was Alma McCarty reporting. Shall we share some viewer photos this morning? I love this shot. That is glorious. That's out of Salem. And we have one from the town of Yamhill as well. The viewer says they got 10 inches of snow. That is beautiful color there on the horizon. And building a snowman in the South Park blocks. What fun posing with their little creation there. And how about a snow cat, not a snowman? I love that. This comes from Nancy in Beaverton. Hey, snow coming down at this home in Eagle Creek. Ooh, I love that. And then this shot overlooking the beach in Pacific City. Awesome. You don't see snow at the beach all that often. And take a look at this guy, roughhousing in Southeast Portland, digging around. She says this is her grand dog Winston's first snow. He's loving it. Thanks to everybody who sent in photos. You can send yours as well or videos. Text them to us at the number on your screen, 503-226-5088. Make sure to tell us your name and where you are. We'll be checking in with that text line all morning.
All right, we're coming back to the Sunrise Show here with a live report from Christine Pinawadich. She's been in Drive 8 all morning long. Christine, you guys just saw something there on your drive. I'm going to let you explain what it was.
Yeah, so we've been all around this area, driving around all morning long. Right now we're on I-84 eastbound, and we saw a spin out, a car spin out. Take a look at the video that I just got. This is I-84 eastbound, like I said, right before the Cesar E. Chavez exit. That's exit 2. And you can see the car kind of transition from clear pavement to ice. It starts fishtailing a little bit. It spins and it hits an abandoned car that is sitting there on the side of I-84. That is actually very close, if not the spot where earlier this morning we saw another crash involving 2 cars that spun out and hit each other, and it caused a backup. Like I said, we've been all over the place this morning. There are definitely slick spots, you know, on the Fremont Bridge, 26, that sort of thing. But far and away, this stretch of I-84, kind of around Cesar E. Chavez, westbound and eastbound, it looks like, is pretty dicey, I'd say. So if you're coming this way, be careful. If you're trying to commute, if you have to commute on I-84, even if you have 4-wheel drive, even if you have studs, because that's what we're in, we are slipping and sliding ourselves. So a heads up if you're heading out this way.
That is some dramatic video. I'm glad that you're okay. Hopefully they are too. Thank you, Christine Pinawadich in Drive 8.
All right, Rod, last look at our weather here on this Friday morning.
Very cold. Temperatures are ranging between about 17 and 25 right now across the Portland metropolitan area. Obviously, skies are clear. Wind chill factors have been running between about 10 and 15 degrees. Bundle up. I know you don't need me to tell you that. We'll get up to about 38 this afternoon. Just as cold tomorrow morning. And then FYI, moisture coming in Saturday overnight, probably near midnight or later into Sunday morning. Could be a period of snow before that transitions to rain early in the morning.
And it's going to be March soon.
That's what they say, but I don't believe it.
Yeah, I don't
Next
either.
Wednesday, it's 100% true. Next Wednesday, March arrives. We'll close out the show with one more shot from Drive 8 this morning. That's Christine Pinawadich and Sunrise photographer Eric Patterson showing us I-84 as we close out Sunrise and say, have a great weekend.